Good morning. I'm Dr. Emily Sommer-Tai, and I'm Grand Marshal for today's events. Before we officially begin commencement, I'd like to take a moment to explain key symbols that are at the heart of the ritual of commencement today. They express our history, traditions, and connection to CUNY and the CUNY Baccalaureate for Unique and Interdisciplinary Studies. The first symbol is one that we share with universities dating back to the Middle Ages, a period I study professionally: academic regalia. When European universities were forming in the 12th and 13th centuries, buildings were cold and drafty, so caps and warm floor-length capes with hoods were a necessity. The color and style of cap, gown, and hood worn varies at different institutions and are distinctive for each degree. Typically, doctoral gowns are distinguished by the 3 velvet chevrons on each sleeve. Master's and bachelor gowns are generally black, with the master's gown displaying long, square-cut tails on the sleeves. Bachelor's gowns have pointed or straight-cut sleeves. Hoods are lined with the colors of the conferring institution. Your satin stole is CUNY BA Royal Blue, emblazoned with the CUNY BA logo and a laurel wreath on your left, which symbolizes laureates, or CUNY BA students. The word laureate comes from the Latin word laureatus, which literally means crowned with laurel. A laureate, according to the Oxford Dictionary, is a person who is honored with an award for outstanding creative or intellectual achievement. In ancient Roman Greece, the laurel wreath crown was a symbol of victory. In athletic competitions, artistic or poetic achievement, or military victory. All of you know the obstacles you've had to navigate to reach this moment. But there's more to the CUNY BA's connection with the medieval university tradition. While most medieval university students took their degrees from a single college. A few intrepid, original thinkers journeyed across Europe to study at more than one. From Paris to study theology, to Bologna to study law, to Salerno to study medicine. These were the Goliards. As they traveled, they composed poetry and music to support themselves. As CUNY BA students, each of you has also traveled across the campuses of the City University of New York or studying abroad, and many of you may have come from very far away to study with us. And thus it is fitting that we should connect your experience to the experience of the medieval Goliards with the CUNY BA's poetic Latin motto, Esse sui generis. The meaning of this phrase, which you can see at the center of your laurel wreath, is to be of one's own sort. This describes the mission and aspiration of CUNY BA students to follow their own path, or, according to Merriam-Webster, meaning constituting a class alone, unique. Some of you are wearing honor cords this morning. Gold honor cords recognize our most prestigious scholarship, the Thomas W. Smith Academic Scholarship. The silver honor cords recognize leadership on the Student Leadership Council Executive Board. You may also have noticed the Graduate Center Mace, a symbol of authority that I carry in my role as marshal. Today's mace, made of solid wood, is the oldest of the Graduate Center commencement artifacts. Designed by the dean in 1967, it was used in the Graduate Center's first commencement. The design is made of 5 elements, representing the 5 boroughs of New York City. When reversed, the top of the mace becomes the base, and it looks like a skyscraper, calling forth the images of the New York City skyline, the heart of where you have studied, the heart of where you have learned, and the heart of where you have explored. Its uniqueness is another way we celebrate the spirit of the CUNY BA. Now, with an understanding of the important history we bring to today's event, we are gathered for the 2026 commencement exercises of the City University of New York Baccalaureate for Unique and Interdisciplinary Studies. With your permission, Provost Joel P. Christensen, the ceremony will begin. Our national anthem will be performed by June 2026 graduate Haley Strayer. Haley is pursuing a Bachelor of Arts in Performing Arts and is a Thomas W. Smith Fellow. She is pursuing her goal of becoming a theatrical creative director and producer with an internship at the Soho Playhouse immediately after graduation. Will you please rise if you're able for the national anthem?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well done. Please be seated. Thank you, Haley, for delighting us with your voice. Today's commencement exercises will be conducted by the program's academic director, Dr. Jody Clark-Vaisman. Dr. Clark-Vaisman.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Somertai. Oh, is that too loud? Yeah. Welcome, honored guests. Want to give a special welcome to the Graduate Center Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost, Joel Christensen. CUNY BA Dean, who you'll meet soon, Brian Peterson. Representing the Board of Trustees for CUNY and newly elected University Faculty Senate Chair, Karen Coughlin. We also have our donors joining us today, Mr. Tom Smith and Eric Santiago. So welcome also our special guest speakers who you will meet soon. But welcome graduates, class of 2026. Yes. Welcome to our faculty mentors. Raise your hands, faculty mentors. Yes. And to the CUNY BA staff who made this happen. Welcome alumni and welcome your very proud loved ones. Class of 2026, we are so proud of you, not just for what you've accomplished, but for who you've become. It's been a real honor and privilege watching you grow. Yeah, you agree? So today we have a traditional ritual that we do when you cross the stage that we're going to give you a little pin emblazoned with the laurel wreath and the name of the program, CUNY Baccalaureate for Unique and Interdisciplinary Studies. I hope you wear this lapel pin and that it's a conversation starter with colleagues, friends, family. I sort of think of that meme of study abroad, students who's always talking about their study abroad experience. I want you to be that person about CUNY BA. Well, back in the day when I created my degree at CUNY BA, yes, my self-designed degree, yes. Be proud. So in my remarks today, I want to do three things. I want to give you a little quick history, give you a little reminder, and a little quiz. Your last one. But don't worry, it's like a magazine quiz, like what type of nerd are you? Very low stakes. Yep. So firstly, the history. In these unsettling times, it's really important to note that CUNY BA was conceived in the 1960s in response to a rapidly changing world, a turbulent time of war, social unrest, and change. Could not be more relevant today. CUNY believed and still believes that students can advance innovation more quickly if we just give you that freedom. And you have done that. You can clap. Clap for yourselves. Next, a reminder. To create your own major, you've spent time really reflecting on who you are and what your personal and professional mission is. You've carefully curated courses across CUNY, and you're unique. So as I like to say, you're CUNYque. Really trying hard to get that to catch on. So remember all of those skills, a reminder of the skills you sharpened to create your own educational action plan. You asked for help and mentorship, which is hashtag a real adulting skill that's underrated. You researched thousands of CUNY courses and you made hard choices. You had to be flexible and persistent, and these skills form your CUNY superpower. You were willing to take a swan dive into the unknown, and that's impressive. You can meet challenges and obstacles. A reminder that CUNY BA will always be here for you as well. You'll always be a valued member of our community. In the words of one of our alums, remember the courage and ambition that led you to CUNY BA. Take that out into the world. Your knowledge and experiences might seem like random stars in the sky, but with time, you'll continue to connect them into constellations to tell your story. In the unknown, you'll figure it out. You might not know how yet, but you will. And we believe in you. You are what make CUNY BA special. Your unique journey could have only happened with CUNY BA. Could have only happened at CUNY. And there's no place like CUNY. There's no place like New York City. Friends, these laureates are so sharp, they don't have a side hustle. They have a 360 degrees of hustle. In the words of one of your classmates, they are the ultimate multi-hyphenate. Many talents, many interests. So let me tell you quickly about this impressive group. Of the 109 graduates, 2/3 of them have achieved Latin honors. This group is adventurous, studying in 5 continents, including Argentina, Australia, France, Italy, Japan, Peru, Taiwan, and the UK. Many of you with special experiential learning scholarships exclusively for CUNY BA students. So despite all of these interests and wanderings in different directions, you all have shared experiences. So for your final quiz, with my apologies to comedian Jeff Foxworthy, here it is, to see if you might be a laureate, a CUNY BA student. If you have difficulty explaining your major, you might be a CUNY BA laureate. If you have a colon in the name of your major, or your title contains more than 3 words, you might be a CUNY BA laureate. If you feel like a kid in the candy store during registration time, you might be a CUNY BA laureate. If the phrase e-permit makes you feel some kind of way, you might be a CUNY BA laureate. If you're graduating from an undergraduate program that's actually housed in the Graduate Center and University Center, you might be a CUNY BA laureate. If when you hear the abbreviation AOC, your first thought is not a representative from Congress, but rather your area of concentration, you might be a CUNY BA laureate. And finally, if you created a unique forward-thinking major, congrats, you are a CUNY BA laureate. Congratulations, class of 2026. So it's now my pleasure to introduce our CUNY Board of Trustees representative and newly elected University Faculty Senate Chairperson, Professor Karen Coughlin. I'm going to tell you about her. Yeah, come on up. A law and paralegal studies professor at City Tech since 2014. She holds a BA in political science from SUNY Albany, an MA in urban studies at Queens College, and her JD at Columbia Law. And it's special. She's actually taken courses right here at the Grad Center. Before joining CUNY, she was a long-serving attorney and served as New York State Assistant Attorney General. Please give a warm welcome to Professor Coughlin.
You just stole half my remarks. Good morning, Dr. Clark Vaseman, Dean Peterson, Grand Marshal Ty, Provost Christensen, distinguished faculty, guests, families, friends, and most importantly, CUNY BA class of 2026. It is my distinct honor to stand before you today on behalf of the CUNY Board of Trustees to let you know how tremendously proud we all are of each and every one of you. And I want to thank you all so very, very much for the opportunity to participate in this beautiful celebration. I'm personally excited to be here for a few reasons. First, as you just heard, like you, I'm also the proud holder of a CUNY degree, actually two. I hold a master's degree from Queens College, and I earned my second master's here at the CUNY Graduate Center. Second, this is one of my first official acts as a CUNY trustee. I only became a trustee a few weeks ago when I was elected chairperson of the University Faculty Senate. The third reason I'm so excited to be here is that I am actually a member of the CUNY BA community myself. I have been a faculty mentor to two CUNY BA students. One of them designed a degree in business writing, and the other designed a degree in legal studies. So I have firsthand experience in just how transformative the CUNY BA can be, not only for you, the students, but also for us as mentors. And you CUNY BA graduates, you deserve a particularly special recognition. Being a college student is hard. Being a CUNY student is even harder. But what you have achieved to be here today is monumental. Not only did you develop your own curriculum, you recruited two faculty mentors. You dealt with the hassles of obtaining multiple e-permits. You mastered the jigsaw puzzles of scheduling your classes and your life so that you could travel from one end of the city to another and still make it to class and to work on time. And now you have the unenviable task of having to explain to you just what the CUNY BA is and what your major is. So for all that you have achieved, I think you deserve an extra special diploma, maybe plated in gold or something. So the message I want to leave you with today is keep doing it your way. My background is in law, and one of my personal heroes is United States Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, also a Bronx native. So I'm going to share with you some of her words of wisdom that I have found helpful at various junctures in my own life. She wrote this: "In the end, find some form of work that satisfies you, that makes you feel good about what you're doing. Doesn't matter what kind of work you do. Just make sure that it appeals to some part of your personality, whether it is intellectually, emotionally, or spiritually. You have already been doing that by designing your own degrees. Now keep on doing that and go out there and design your own destiny. Congratulations again, and thank you very much."
Thank you, Professor Coughlin. Next, representing CUNY BA's faculty mentors, it's a pleasure to introduce Professor Eli Neugebauer. In addition to teaching, he's an award-winning artist and writer. His most recent work, the graphic novel Whatever Happened to Frankie King, was named one of Publisher Weekly's top picks of 2024. His work was also included in COVID Chronicles, a comics anthology, and Weapon Ich, an indie comic. He regularly collaborates with streetwear brand Always Trophy Hunting and celebrity chef Michael Greenfield, person of many interests like yourselves. His hashtag Drawing the News body of work has won multiple awards and been displayed in numerous gallery shows around the U.S. Please welcome Professor Eli Neugebauer.
Hi there. Good morning. Thank you for having me. It is great to be here. It's quite an honor to be here at the Graduate Center for the CUNY BA Commencement. This program, I think, has one of the best names ever for a program, kind of like each of your individual degrees, your AOCs do. The Baccalaureate for Unique and Interdisciplinary Studies. Just a great name. Thank you to Jody Vaisman and Kate McPherson, all the other folks who, with their enthusiasm and hard work, keep this program running smoothly every semester. I'll start with this. Congratulations to all the graduates here, and of course their families and all the loved ones that are here to celebrate them. This is an amazing achievement that is capping off 4 or more years of intensely focused and self-directed high-level study. You have made so many choices and worked so hard to get to this moment right now. And all of that hard work and stress and hopefully joy have paid off. I've been lucky enough to have mentored students from this program for the last 10 years or so, and every single time there's a CUNY BA student in my classroom, I know the semester is going to be a great one. One of the main reasons why, and this is also one of the main things that led you all to discover this special program, is curiosity. Being curious about the world beyond what is being offered at face value, going beyond the basic expectations of a curriculum, of a degree or a program, or even one single college campus. This curiosity will carry all of you through your careers and your lives. When I was an undergraduate at Ohio University, I was a painting major, but I had interests that lay beyond the fine arts building. By the time I graduated, I had enough credits for minors in English, anthropology, and political science. The poli-sci program even allowed me to take a bunch of graduate classes, just like the CUNY BA, which was amazing. An interdisciplinary lens is important to work in fine arts because there always needs to be research into a line of thinking to properly create a body of work with depth and relevance. It's also important to be able to understand where the work fits into the world at large. All of you CUNY BA students remind me of me. You know what you want to study, and you have a trajectory that you see yourselves on in your academics and beyond. CUNY BA allows you all to realize your academic dreams, and it is a singular pleasure and honor to be able to help you accomplish what you set your minds to. It's tough to have to graduate in the midst of difficult and chaotic times. It's an understatement to say that there's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now, but to that I will say that there will always be uncertain times. Being a curious person and a serious thinker who is willing to forge a path of your own making is one of the best ways that you can combat uncertainty in your careers and in your personal lives. I'll finish with this. One small favor that I would ask of all of you as you move forward out of your studies and into the world. Mark Zuckerberg famously said, "Move fast and break things." What I would ask of all of you is to move slow and fix things. Congratulations to the class of 2026.
Thank you, Professor Neugebauer. Representing the class of 2026, our student speaker, Victoria Farrell, is a graduating senior who created her CUNY BA degree in human-centered design and media. Before returning to school, Victoria worked in finance as a user experience designer. She is a proud first-generation Filipino American and the first person in her family to graduate from college. At her home college, Queens College, she served as a chair of an academic senate committee. She's a community health advocate, volunteering with Punk Rock Saves Lives, and works as a legal assistant at an elder care law firm where she advocates for the rights of the elderly and disabled. In true CUNY BA multi-hyphenate style, Victoria is also a visual artist who recently launched her own design studio, Dawg Draws. After graduation, Victoria plans on pursuing her JD and becoming a public defender. Please welcome your student speaker for the class of 2026, Victoria Farrell.
Good morning, faculty, families, friends, and my fellow graduates. I'm overwhelmed with gratitude to be chosen as this year's student speaker. 9 years ago, I would have never thought that I would have this opportunity. At that point in my life, I had been dismissed from school. For a long time, I truly believed that that chapter of my life was over. Education felt like something long gone and never to be returned to. So when I made the decision to go back to school at 29, it wasn't just about enrolling in classes. It was about taking a chance on myself again. I didn't know what that path would look like, but I knew that I wanted something different. I wanted a program that would let me explore all the parts of myself that I hadn't had the opportunity to before. I wanted an education that felt meaningful and rewarding. That's what led me to the CUNY BA program. And what I found here was more than I expected. The CUNY BA program didn't just give me a chance to finish my degree, it gave me the freedom to build one that actually reflected who I am. Creating my concentration in human-centered design and media pushed me to think deeply about what I care about, my values, and the mark that I wanted to leave on this world. That process wasn't always easy. When you're given this much flexibility, there's no clear blueprint. You have to trust yourself and figure things out as you go. but that flexibility is also what made it possible for me to succeed. For the first time, I was able to shape my education around my life and not the other way around. I took classes across disciplines, explored different ideas, and built an education that felt truly my own. Little by little, I found my way as a student. And somewhere along the way, something changed. I stopped seeing myself as someone who had failed at school and started seeing myself as someone who belonged in it. I became an A student and made the dean's list for the first time. I got involved with the academic senate so I could advocate for my classmates. But more importantly, I became someone who believed in my own ability to learn, grow, and succeed. The CUNY BA program allowed me to flourish as a student and grow into the person I was destined to be. And I know that I'm not alone in that transformation. So many of us here today took unconventional paths to get to this stage. We've balanced responsibilities, made sacrifices, faced setbacks, and kept going anyway. Our journeys don't all look the same, but that's exactly what makes them powerful. Because being here today means something deeper than just earning a degree. It means that we chose to keep going. As for me, my path is still unfolding, but I know that everything I've learned as a CUNY BA student has prepared me to take that next step. This program has helped me find my voice and develop the confidence to go forward and create the meaningful change that I wish to see in this world. And I hope the same is true for you, my fellow graduates. If there is one thing that I hope you take away from my story today, it's this. It is never too late to come back to your education. It is never too late to rewrite your story. And it's never too late to become the person you always thought that you could be. 9 years ago, I thought my story was over. And if you had told me that I would be standing here today, I wouldn't have believed you. But here I am, and here we all are. Today, I'm asking you, my fellow graduates, to go forward and write something bigger. Take the risk. Apply for the impossible. Change direction if you need to, but don't be afraid to start over. Because if today proves anything, it's this. Our stories are not finished. This is just the beginning. Congratulations, class of 2026.
Thank you, Victoria. Next, speaking on behalf of alumni, I'd like to introduce CUNY BA laureate from the class of 2010, Vasu Panikkar. Vasu created his CUNY BA around music and social systems with his concentration in contemporary music studies. He went on to earn an MBA from UC Berkeley, where he pursued management consulting and conducted independent research examining how revenue is generated, structured, and sustained across creative and cultural industries. Vasu is currently a turnaround and systems strategist, which means that when huge public organizations get stuck, Vasu is the person they call. His work with critical public service organizations involves multi-billion-dollar budgets, that's billion with a B, often serving millions of people. Yet Vasu began his career as a musician, composer, and educator. He serves on multiple boards of directors to expand access to music and education around the world, and still actively composes and produces music. Traveling from Texas to celebrate with you today, please welcome our keynote CUNY BA alumni speaker, Vasu Panikkar.
Hi, excuse me. Hello, everyone. Although I did fly in from Texas, I am not a Spurs fan. I'm a Knicks fan, okay? Yeah. So hello to everybody in this room, especially the laureates. I do live in Texas for family reasons, but I began writing this speech while on a walk along the East River where my family has lived for several decades. My name is Vasu Panikkar. I'm a proud graduate of the CUNY Baccalaureate program, and more broadly, a product of New York City, a public school kid from kindergarten all the way to graduate studies, and a beneficiary of the amazing resources this university, and the city has to offer. So it's a total privilege to be up here in front of you to address you today. You all have just undergone a remarkable experience. You saw what this degree had to offer, and it caught your attention. It intrigued you, it pulled you in, and you saw the wonderful resources that this city and this university have to offer. But you thought, hey, there's a lot here to work with, but it doesn't exactly fit my vision. And so you questioned and you designed and you crafted and you integrated. My CUNY BA experience 16 years ago was an adventure across 4 different boroughs of this city. Sorry, Staten Island. On one day, I would be biking from Roosevelt Island, where I lived at the time, down 34th Avenue, all the way to Queens College in Flushing to study the Western classical music canon. And the very next day, I'd be cycling south across the Pulaski Bridge, just hauling it down Bedford Avenue to get to Brooklyn College for an experimental music rehearsal. I also studied music composition at Lehman and jazz piano up at City College. I studied at 6 different CUNY schools across 4 boroughs. Sorry, Staten Island again. But my professional work now is as a turnaround strategist. So I support large institutions that are undergoing some sort of fiscal or organizational distress, and I help make them make their ends meet. But I haven't always done this. My first career after CUNY BA was as a contemporary musician, educator, and nonprofit manager, not too far from here. It was through that work and my CUNY BA adventure before it that I saw a thread unfolding, a continuity connecting creativity and social systems. And that thread is what led me to where I am now, standing in front of you. Your path forward is not going to look the same as mine, but you have the same tools, you have the same structure, and the same discipline. You have already proven it. Because what you embarked upon some years ago, navigating this abundant university, designing something entirely original, emerging victoriously on the other side, that's your proof. You saw this vast ecosystem of potential and you said, hey, this is cool, but it's not quite my vision. I'm going to shape it as I see fit. You survived the ambiguity, you tamed the complexity, and now you are emerging victoriously. You might have doubts. You might have some fears. Was it the right degree? Yes, it was. Was it the right school? Yes. Did I do enough? Yes, you did. Am I enough? Absolutely. Imposter syndrome hits people at every stage of their career. We sometimes have this pernicious tendency to compare ourselves to those around us. And then once we succeed and overcome, we just set our sights on the next thing to compare ourselves to. So any doubt you may have, you can resolve now. Just look at your own story. Say, hey, I've already done this. I have proven to myself and my community that I've done this and I know I can do it again. Your area of concentration is not your ceiling. It's not a brand that you're tied to. It is a foundation. It's the title of one chapter in your life in what's going to be many across your lifespan. If you doubt the value you offer to employers, graduate schools, or clients, guess what? The act of designing your degree and sitting here today, that's your proof that you can do it. And while you're building your professional careers, know that you can do good while also earning well. Laureates, I cannot wait to see what your class of 2026 is going to be doing 2, 4, 8, 16 years from now. So follow your own thread and integrate it together. Thank you.
Thank you, Vasu. To launch our awards portion of today's celebration, I'd like to introduce our Dean, Brian Peterson, who will be presenting awards for our graduating students. Brian is the Senior VP of Administration and Finance, Dean for Academic Initiatives and Strategic Innovation, and Dean for CUNY Baccalaureate for Unique and Interdisciplinary Studies. As you can see from his titles, he is also multi-talented. Please welcome Dean Peterson.
Thank you, Jody. Like CUNY BA students, I like to keep busy and engaged. And as we heard, Victoria, thank you. Leslie, thank you for your remarks. Inspiring, and all of you are inspiring. And I guess my only regret today is we don't get to hear from each one of you, but I know you all have your own inspiring stories to share, and maybe we'll hear about those outside of the auditorium later. But now we're going to present our commencement awards. So Jody, if you're ready. I'm delighted to announce our first Alumni Fund Award that will be presented today to Raneem Abagafar, who is graduating cum laude with a self-designed degree in artificial intelligence and digital marketing, is a member of the CUNY BA Student Leadership Council. Raneem secured a full-time supporting data-driven initiative and business operations across the Northeast region and will pursue a Master of Science degree in Business Administration at Brooklyn College. Next, I would like to call Queen Caruso. Queen is graduating magna cum laude with a self-designed degree in social data science and curatorial studies, and focused her studies on the intersection between people and data using mixed methods research. Queen participated in the CUNY Pipeline program at the Graduate Center and plans to pursue a master's degree in sociology and data science at University College London. Alvin Khan is graduating summa cum laude with a self-designed degree in biophysics. Alvy conducted work at the Curran and Peixoto 2 labs at Baruch College, where this area of concentration provided the mathematical and conceptual toolkit to operate across both biology and quantitative methods. Said of Alvy, there is no curveball that he cannot hit back. Alvy will attend Penn State College of Medicine to pursue an MD PhD degree with a focus on neuroengineering. Alvy could not make it today, so our colleague Raphael will be accepted on his behalf. Deborah Pierre, who graduated cum laude in January 2026 with an individualized degree in hospitality operations management and business management. Her interdisciplinary studies emphasized attention to detail, effective communication, and teamwork in hospitality. She will pursue a Master of Science degree in hospitality management at the University of Houston. And our final Alumni Fund Award goes to Brandon Smith. Brandon graduated cum laude in January 2026 with a self-designed degree in game design education and was a Smith Fellow and a member of the EDG Collective at City College. Brandon will pursue an MFA degree at Hunter College with the goal of becoming a college professor. Yeah. That's it. One more. The next award is the Leslie F. Hughes Health Sciences Award. In honor of her friend, CUNY BA alumna, Dr. Stacy Simons, has made this award possible for a graduate who has created an area of concentration in health sciences and will continue in the health sciences after graduate school or in their career. This year's Leslie F. Hughes Health Science Award goes to Jack Cameron. Jack is graduating summa cum laude with a degree in social epidemiology and neuroscience and is a Smith Fellow and recipient of the prestigious Jeanette K. Watson Fellowship. Jack works at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine as a research assistant and clinical interviewer in the Department of Neurology. He will pursue a Master's of Public Health in Global Health Epidemiology at the University of Michigan School of Public Health. Wow, you guys have just so many. Followed by an MD, PhD in epidemiology. I'm tired. Nice guy. I'm delighted to introduce our newest award, the Miguel and Magdalena Santiago Commencement Award. In honor of his parents, CUNY BA alumnus Eric Santiago created this award to recognize the academic achievements of graduating students who have a personal and/or academic connection with Latin American and Caribbean countries. Mr. Santiago is here with us today to meet the very first recipients of the award. He is a proud 1999 graduate of the CUNY BA program, creating his concentration in international political economics. He went on to complete an MBA at Fordham University. Go Rams. Go Rams. Born in Brooklyn. Go Brooklyn. To parents who immigrated from Puerto Rico and emphasized go Puerto Rico. And emphasize the importance of education, Eric built a 30-year career in financial services and IT project management, founding his own consulting company in 2014. He is honored to support future generations of students establishing this new commencement award to give back to the CUNY BA community, and we are grateful for your generosity and for doing so. A community that he states helped shape his own educational journey. Let's give a warm welcome and thanks to Eric. So our first recipients, I'm delighted to announce Andrew Acevedo, graduating magna cum laude with a degree in multimedia storytelling and journalism. He is a Smith Fellow. He will pursue a Master of Arts in Applied Theater at the School of Professional Studies. I know that program. And has completed graduate coursework in the journalism at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism. His academic and creative work has been featured at John Jay College and Lehman College, including the original short screenplay, Time for Sage Advice.
Arriba la raza.
And Sasha Chang, recipient of the Miguel and Magdalena Santiago Commencement Award. Sasha graduated magna cum laude in January 2026 with a degree in global music and is also a Smith Fellow and the recipient of the prestigious Benjamin A. Gilman Scholarship for Study Abroad. She performed with the Hunter College Jazz Vocal and Jazz Pop Ensembles and is currently completing her debut album. Sasha. That concludes our awards. Jody, I'm going to turn the podium back to you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dean Peterson and Mr. Eric Santiago. Class of 2026, as you receive more recognition and accept awards and graduate school acceptances, please let us know. Do not ghost us. Send us an email, contact your advisor, tag us in a picture at the very least. We would appreciate it. So thank you again to our alumni special guests, Mr. Vasu Panikkar and Mr. Eric Santiago. We'd like to take a moment to thank also our another generous donor, Mr. Thomas W. Smith, who is here today. And at 96 years young, I'm not going to ask him to stand, but his impact on CUNY BA for over 30 years, funding over 1,100 Smith Fellows. Yeah. Since 1994, the Thomas W. Smith Fellowship has had a profound impact on CUNY BA students and the lives of New Yorkers. The Smith Fellowship gives them more time to invest in their education while also serving as a priceless vote of confidence that says, I believe in you. I value you. Mr. Smith tells the story of the investment of a penny and how it grows over time and how his support of CUNY BA students is the best investment he has ever made. Please note that these fellowships support students over multiple semesters. They are renewable scholarships. So thank you, Mr. Smith, for your generous donation, for your kindness, for your support of the program, helping to change the lives of so many CUNY students and their families. So we are so fortunate to have generous donors. So thank you again, Mr. Eric Santiago and Mr. Smith. We also owe a debt of gratitude to our faculty mentors. Raise your hands, faculty mentors. Yes. Faculty mentors are the lifeblood of CUNY BA, the secret sauce, the lighthouse in the storm, all the metaphors. They are essential to our program, so we thank you. So give a thank you. Laureates, we'd also like to give you a chance to thank your loved ones and the people who got you here, your families, your friends, partners, fellow students, academic advisors, teachers, children, and others. Let's take a minute, if your loved ones were able to be here in this room today, as well as to think about the important people who can't be here today. To stand if you're able, look at them or the camera, and some way send them your love and gratitude. So stand up. An event like this takes many people and many, many hours of work. So thank you to our student volunteers and the CUNY BA staff for their support today and their tireless work all year. Anna Cruz, Anne-Marie Doring, Isabel Griffin, Kate McPherson, Nico Vaughn, our honorary team member and partner, Peter Altman, Rafal Skarowski, and especially Tracy Meija Ureña, the engine of commencement and the most organized person you'll ever gonna meet. So now please join me in welcoming Grad Center Provost and Senior VP for Academic Affairs, Dr. Joel P. Christensen. Provost Christensen is an esteemed classics scholar and advocate for public higher education. When Dr. Christensen became provost in 2025, it meant that he returned to the very institution where he took classes during his own doctoral studies. Dr. Christensen holds a BA and MA from Brandeis and a PhD in classics from NYU with a bonus advanced certificate in poetics and theory. A prolific author on myth, narrative, and ancient epic poetry, his most recent book, Story Life, explores the deep human necessity of storytelling, a lens that will resonate with the very many storytellers that I know that we have in this group. So please give a warm welcome to Provost Joel P. Christensen.
So I'm all that stands between you and your degrees. And they told me to take 3 to 5 minutes. I may stretch it. We'll see how you behave. If you look at the program, it says it's remarks to the graduating class. So I'm going to look at you. I'll let everybody else listen in. But this is for you. Jody, Vasu, Victoria, Eli already said everything I was going to say. They already made the important Jody just made the important gesture of recognizing everybody in this audience who made your lives possible. And I'd just like to go back to a minute to Emily's opening emphasis on the motto, Esse sui generis, right? You have all made yourselves into what you are. You are all unique and of your own individual kind, but it came from somewhere else. From people you know, from people who supported you, from the benefactors who made this education possible. So if we could take one more opportunity and thank all the people who are here and aren't here, who made you into who you are today. I know all of you are being asked what you're going to do next, where you're going to go, where your degree is going to take you. But I want you to think about that applause that you just gave us. I want you to think about what you're going to take with you and what you're going to do with the skills that you've learned here. One of the things that still gives me a thrill every day, and it hasn't been that many days because I started on August 18th last year, but every time I walk into this building, every time I see the home screen and I see those words, knowledge for the public good, it gives me a thrill because it reflects a commitment to the people of the city of New York and a commitment to the people of the world that we don't see everywhere anymore. In a way, each one of you are participating in that promise, and I ask you to take that promise out into the world with you. As Vasu says, you can go out and you can get rich, but you can also enrich your communities. What I felt hearing the description of what all of you are going to do with just a sample is awe. Right? I want to talk about that because in 2026, you've all spread your education out over 4 years and longer, and you've gone through a lot. Eli's right in saying the world's never been gentle, it's never been kind, but you've lived in a period where you know everything that's going on. When I sat where you were 25 years ago, we didn't have Google, we didn't have YouTube or Facebook. The world could be full of evil, but you could also build yourself a shelter. You could grow up in that shelter and then go out in the world ready to face it. You've gone through contentious elections. You've gone through the Black Lives Matters protests and the promise that we all made to make the world better. You've gone through the disappointment. You've gone through the contentious elections of 2020, 2024. You've witnessed war. You get to hear a lot about AI and what it's going to do to your life. Don't listen. You're in control. You are my heroes because you've done all this facing more information than any generation in the history of humankind. And I feel safe saying that because I'm a classicist. Let's go back to that essay sui generis as I sort of round this out. So here I'm going to become a meme for a moment. Youth pastor voice. You know who else was esse sui generis? Odysseus. You guys might have heard a little bit about Odysseus. You might have heard a little bit about the Odyssey because there's a movie coming out. But there's a moment in it people often skip that they don't think about, that you all make me think about. When they decide they're going to let Odysseus go home after 20 years, they send the god Hermes to an island. They find him crying on the shore. Now, gods can do whatever they want. They don't just pick him up and plop him down in Ithaca. No, they make him build his own raft. And we hear a description in the Odyssey of the trees that he takes apart, of how he crafts a raft with his own hands, and how when he goes out to sea, the gods again wreck that raft, and he has to make a choice 5 times to swim to safety, and he washes up on the island of the Phaeacians with nothing but his own wits. He remade himself, and then he had to do it again. Odysseus' journey home is not a journey it's not a journey to a specific location. It's not a journey to a place, because he gets home halfway through the epic. What we learn about in the Odyssey is Odysseus can't come home until he's reunited with his son, with a mother figure, with his wife, with his father, with his people. What the Odyssey teaches us is that the stories we tell each other, the story we tell about ourselves, and the people who love us and tell those stories are the ones who give us home. They're the ones who tell us where we are. So even though Odysseus has to actually go journeying again until he gets to a land where people don't know what an oar is, he takes his home with him because he remembers finally after 20 years who he is. So may your journeys be filled with adventures that you're always equal to. And may you never forget the people who made you who you are and carry them with you wherever your journeys go. Congratulations and good luck, class of 2026.
Thank you, Provost Christensen. We're almost there. We're almost there. Now I'd like to introduce our name reader as we go into this next section. Miss Malika Pegues, class of 2022, will be our name reader today. She created her CUNY BA in psychoneurobiology and therapeutic recreation, obtained an MS in education in school psychology with advanced certificates in school psychology and play therapy from Brooklyn College. She now works as a school psychologist. Are you ready, Malika?
I'm ready.
Great. Are you ready, class of 2026? Now is the moment you've been waiting for. Congratulations, you entrepreneurial innovators, world changers. When you walk across the stage, you're going to be coming from this side, and you're going to give your name card to Miss Malika Pegues and stop as it is read. Then you're going to be congratulated by Provost Christensen and Dean Peterson. Then you're going to come over here. There's an X on the floor for you to take your picture and receive your scroll from me and your laureate pin from your academic advisor, Kate McPherson and Rafal Skarowski. If you don't want to shake hands, a fist bump, an air high five, a genteel head nod will suffice. Family and friends, also let's celebrate. As an individualized program, we have time for you to yell and cheer and share your pictures, #CUNY BA. So as the first row comes up, I'm going to invite the provost and dean. You're on this side.
For the candidates for the Bachelor of Arts degree in January 2026, I present to you Sasha Chang. She studied global music, and her Latin honors consist of magna cum laude. She was on the Dean's List. She's a Thomas W. Smith Academic Fellow. She also won the Barbara Price Experiential Learning Scholarship. She also received the B. Diane Gibson Memorial Fund Award. She also won the Barbara Price Scholarship, the Memorial Scholarship, the Ann Duncan Somson Memorial Fund, the Julia Foreman Last Mile Scholarship, and the Gilman Scholarship. L'Oreal Naomi Creighton. She studied cinematic performance, cinemas of resistance. She was on the Dean's List. She also was a Thomas W. Smith Academic Fellow. She won the Barbara Price Scholarship, the Barbara Price Experiential Learning Scholarship, the Gilman Scholarship, and she's also magna cum laude. Olivia Nicole Gennardo. She studied dance and business studies. Latin honors consist of cum laude and was on the Dean's List, and she won the Barbara Price Scholarship. Kim Joseph Lonzo. He studied legal advocacy for underserved communities. He received the Dean's Certificate and was on the Dean's List. He's also a Thomas W. Smith Academic Fellow, and he also won the Anne Duncan Thompson Memorial Fund. Eternity Council. She studied arts and culture, and she also studied in South Africa, Afro-Diasporic Studies. She's a Thomas W. Smith Academic Fellow. She also won the Barbara Price Scholarship, the Barbara Price Experiential Learning Scholarship, the Memorial Scholarship, and the B. Diane Gibson Memorial Fund. Shay Stevenson. She studied anthropological fiction, and she also won magna cum laude Latin honors. She's on the Dean's List, and she also had won the Barbara Price Experiential Learning Scholarship. Amelia Turek. She studied environmental studies, won cum laude Latin honors, is on the Dean's List, and also won the Barbara Price Experiential Learning Scholarship. Thomas Kimmeth studied cybersecurity counterterrorism and was also receiving the summa cum laude Latin honors and also was on the Dean's List. Anthony Lau studied computer science and software engineering and also received magna cum laude Latin honors and was on the Dean's List. Byron Madeira studied narrative for games. Laiba Nizami studied health studies, marketing, and management, was also cum laude Latin honors, on the Dean's List, is also a Thomas W. Smith Academic Fellow, and also won the Barbara Price Scholarship and the Memorial Scholarship. Deborah Priska Pierre studied hospitality operations management, business management, received cum laude Latin honors, was also on the Dean's List, and won the awards of Barbara Price Scholarship and the Anne Duncan Thompson Memorial Fund. Brandon Shane Smith studied game design education and received cum laude Latin honors and also won the awards of Thomas W. Smith Academic Fellow, Studio Fellowship, EGD Collective, and was on the Dean's List. Carlos Torres studied game design and also won the EGD Collective Award. And now for the candidates for the Bachelor of Arts degree from June 2026. We have Hasna H. Anonia, who studied behavioral psychology and legal studies. Arlo Banta studied environmental philosophy, screenwriting, and also received summa cum laude Latin honors, was also on the Dean's List, and won the award B. Diane Gibson Memorial Fund. Jack Duncan Cameron studied social epidemiology, neuroscience, and also received summa cum laude Latin honors, was on the Dean's List, and is also a Thomas W. Smith Academic Fellow, and he also won the awards of the Memorial Scholarship, Barbara Price Scholarship, Jeanette K. Watson Fellowship, and Colin Powell Fellowship in Leadership and Public Service. Crystal Cragen studied dance and culture of the African diaspora. Ikaterini Dupi studied philosophy of consciousness and justice, received the Dean's Certificate, and was on the Dean's List, and was also a Student Leadership Council member. Karina I. Fernandez Saito studied ethics in health and culture. She received cum laude Latin honors and is also a Thomas W. Smith Academic Fellow, and also won the Barbara Price Experiential Learning Scholarship, the Mellon Mays Undergraduate Research Fellowship, the Student Leadership Council member, Institute on Gender Law and Transformative Peace Fellowship as well. Miguel Jose Frias studied romance, language, and linguistics, and also received magna cum laude Latin honors, was on the Dean's List, and received the Barbara Price Scholarship. Congratulations, Bella Hopper. Samir Malik studied decolonization studies, received magna cum laude Latin honors, was on the Dean's List, and also received the Barbara Price Scholarship. Danielle Jacobo Orejuela studied mathematical methods, modern physics, and received cum laude Latin honors. Zara Ali Simone Scott studied integrative nutritional psychology and studio art mixed media, and also, and also received magna cum laude Latin honors, was on the Dean's List, and is also a Thomas W. Smith Academic Fellow, and also received the Memorial Scholarship and the Barbara Price Scholarship. Haley Strayer studied performing arts and received cum laude Latin honors, and was also on the Dean's List, and is also a Thomas W. Smith Academic Fellow, and received the Barbara Price Scholarship, the Ann Duncan Thompson Memorial Fund, and president of the Hunter College Intonation Club. Noel Xavier Vadi III studied history, film, and media. Dalita Zhao studied computational media, Japanese language, and culture, and received magna cum laude Latin honors, and was on the Dean's List. And now for the candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree in June 2026. Ranim Abdulgafar studied artificial intelligence and digital marketing, and was student council leadership member for the CUNY BA, and received cum laude Latin honors, and was on the Dean's List, and was also in the National Society of Leadership and Success, and was also Beta Gamma Sigma International Business Honor Society member. Andrew Acevedo studied multimedia storytelling journalism, and received magna cum laude Latin honors, and also was on the Dean's List, and is also a Thomas W. Smith Academic Fellow, and has received the Barbara Price Scholarship, the B. Diane Gibson Memorial Fund, the Ann Duncan Thompson Memorial Fund, John Jay College Distinguished Scholar Award, and also received the English Department Chair Accolade Award. Kia Elizabeth Bell studied early childhood education, business marketing, and entrepreneurship, received a Dean's Certificate, and was also on the Dean's List, and also received the Memorial Scholarship, and was also Saul Zantz Fellow at the Harvard Graduate School of Education, and just published first children's book, Max Learns to Be a Gentleman. Queen Carrasco studied social data science and curatorial studies, and also received magna cum laude Latin honors, was on the Dean's List, and received the Barbara Price Experiential Learning Scholarship, the Ann Duncan Thompson Memorial Fund, the Ellen Knowles Harcourt Scholarship, the Frederick Douglass Leadership Award, was a City College Fellow, and a Racial Justice Fellow. Joanna D'Amaco Charles studied game art and animation. Adam Dong studied game design, and received cum laude Latin honors, and was on the Dean's List. Victoria Farrell studied human-centered design and media, and received a Dean's Certificate, and was on the Dean's List. Enaje Gill studied cybersecurity, and also received the Barbara Price Scholarship, and was the president of her Color Stack Club. Victor Kolakowski studied game design and development, and received summa cum laude Latin honors, was on the Dean's List, and is also a Thomas W. Smith Academic Fellow. Kai Lacerna studied game art production. Du Sam Lam studied game narrative, and also received magna cum laude Latin honors, and was on the Dean's List. Christine May studied child trauma-informed counseling, and also received summa cum laude Latin honors, and was on the Dean's List. Beth Simmons Graybill studied investigations into music, art, and technology, and received magna cum laude Latin honors, and was also on the Dean's List. Richard Nguyen studied game concept art, and also received summa cum laude Latin honors, and was on the Dean's List. Sandra Saeteros studied character design, and also received summa cum laude Latin honors, and was on the Dean's List. Nia Aisha Nicole Savory studied the Black moving image theory, the Black moving image practice, and received cum laude Latin honors, was on the Dean's List, is also a Thomas W. Smith Academic Fellow, and also received the Barbara Price Experiential Learning Scholarship. Chelsea Stortaboom studied child development and also received summa cum laude Latin honors, was on the Dean's List, and received the Memorial Scholarship, the Barbara Price Scholarship, and the Anne Duncan Thompson Memorial Fund. Michelle Wu Feng studied interaction design, data analytics, and also received summa cum laude Latin honors, was on the Dean's List, and is also a Thomas W. Smith Academic Fellow and received the Barbara Price Scholarship. Now for the candidates for the Bachelor of Arts degree from September 2026. Kendra Lucille Calhoun studied interdisciplinary creative arts and was on the Dean's List and received the Dean's Certificate. Gianna Rose Reyes studied entertainment production and was on the Dean's List and received the Dean's Certificate. Candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree in September 2026. Daniel Jelani Folan studied data visualization and received the Social Change Fellow of the Leadership for Democracy and Social Justice at City College, was a BASTA Fellow for the G Suite or Google and Bloomberg Mentorship Program, and also received the Most Imaginative Award at NYU CUSP PIT UN Tech for Change Hackathon. Jada I. Hines, who studied population health and public policy. Lemya Kerbal, who studied forensic accounting, was also on the Dean's List and received the Dean's Certificate. Congratulations, class of 2026. It was my honor.
One more round of applause. You all are just amazing. I want to do a quick reminder to Smith Fellows that we would love to take a picture with you and Mr. Smith at the end of the ceremony. So you're going to process out and back. But now is the very special moment. Actually, Emily, that's you and the provost.
Odysseus never saw days like this. Congratulations, graduates. You may now move your tassels from right to left.
By the authority that the Regents of the State of New York and the Board of Trustees have vested in me, I confer upon you the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science, thereby granting to you all the rights and privileges which pertain to that degree. Congratulations. We're almost there. We'll welcome back Dean Peterson for his closing remarks.
So to our newly minted, I'm going to break the wall. All of you. The family and friends who supported you, my heartfelt thanks to you for that support. And may it continue, because this is just a moment in your journey. You're not done. You're in the middle of it. How do you? You're getting it. You guys are amazing. You have already done amazing, brilliant, great things. From our comments, we're counting on it. We really are counting on it. Fix it. We need some fixing, but my congratulations. What we're going to do now, we're going to get up. We're going to go out. You're going to mingle with your fellow you alum. You're no longer alum with the CUNY BA program. You're going to learn more about it. You are going to go spend with your family and your friends and your loved ones. And what are you going to do today? One thing. You're going to celebrate. Yes. I love the love that's in this house right now. So we're going to do that, and then you're going to go on. You're going to fix it. If I can get the stage party garage. If I can get our alum to rise, if I can get our audience to rise, The stage party will be set down first, followed by our graduates, and we'll each all out the lobby.